their beer. We're about to get going. And you don't have to be quiet and take your seats at the same time. You can mix and match that for 30 seconds. So there's more seats down here. If I have to Disney World this thing and make you guys go down your row, I will. All right, how's everyone doing today? Okay, we're going to try this again and pretend you just had like 5 espresso shots and you're really, really, really excited. How's everyone doing? Wow, I think I heard some lion calls from this side of the room. Welcome everyone to the Palm Beach Tech Meetup. Thank you for joining tonight. Who's here for their first time? Nice. Jeremy, I've seen you here before.
At a meetup now.
At a meetup now. Okay. Beard is very recognizable, so I know you've been in here before. So welcome everybody. We're glad you're here. We have a great lineup tonight. Hearing from some amazing people doing really cool things in West Palm Beach. For those of you that do not know me, I'm Joe. And if I can get this thing going here. Everyone, let's try this. 1, 2.
Wow.
Okay. We're going to try it the good old-fashioned way and just click this and see if it works. Ah, there you go. So my name is Joe. This is my social media tag, at Joseph R. Russo. Palm Beach Tech is at Palm Beach Tech. It's a very, very, very important thing that you know this because we are giving away a free member box. These things are new. No one knows about these yet. They're secret. They're top secret. This is our new member box. If you join Palm Beach Tech as an individual member, for $50 you get one of these. If you are a corporate member, you also get one of these. It comes with all of the main essentials of any box. If anyone has ever tried Birchbox? No, I'm the only one? I'm kidding. It comes with a t-shirt, it comes with stickers, it comes with some really great swag items from a few of the member companies of Palm Beach Tech. Most importantly, you'll have a big Made in PBC t-shirt actually made right here in Palm Beach County. So we're going to give one of these away tonight, and it's going to be out in the first shipment for whoever wins. And what we're asking for is the person who gets the most social media engagement tonight, we're going to give one of these things away. It's $50 value. If you guys are interested in that, all we need you to do is go on Facebook, go on Instagram, go on Twitter, go on YouTube if you want, and talk about the companies that you see here. You're going to hear about some really great people doing really cool things. Share that. Help tell that story. They're trying to get the word out. That's why they're here. So help them out, do that, and we'll give you one of these things. Make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, very simply, this meetup is supported by a number of amazing companies in the Palm Beaches. These are tech companies that are doing really big things. Just to name them off really quickly, we have Digital Resource, Dedicated IT, Nebular Agency, KVL. That's KVL Media when the projector is not taking it off, and that is that man right there, Kevin Lawson, taking our photos. Quantivus, a health tech company in downtown here. Levitas, Achieve Agency, which is on the 3rd floor of this building. PGA of America. Merging Traffic, Dial My Calls, Script Sender, MTM, it's MyTaskit. We're going to be hearing from them in a little bit. Ackerman Law Firm, Aero Digital, The Silva Logic, Daska Bolton, Red Pepper Group, and Red Florida Power and Light. And they're really awesome because they brought the electricity, which it's really nice that I can call them up and I'm like, hey, can you help us out with the power? So big thanks to them. Those are the companies that allow us and support us to do what we do tonight. I am going to fix that projector in a second, unless anyone wants to go up there and try and fiddle with the menu. That would be appreciated. The mission of Palm Beach Tech, while we're here, what we're doing is to build the Palm Beaches into a tech hub. If anyone has ever heard of the concept of a tech hub, it's very, very, very simple. It's that there are technology companies and a lot of them and a lot of people working with them in that area. So when you think about a tech hub, think about Silicon Valley, right? Everyone's seen that show. There's one, Pied Piper, right? Silicon Valley is a tech hub because of all the major companies there. Now, South Florida, I believe, is in a very specific place of being a tech hub. It's just that we're very, very spread out. South Florida is very suburban. You got to drive everywhere. It's not like a big city like Atlanta and New York City. We have a lot of great companies scattered about. What we try and do with Palm Beach Tech is bring everybody closer together to build off of each other and hopefully build a larger community. So thank you all for being a part of that tonight. A little about what we do and our members. We are a 501c6 member organization. We have corporate members that are part of Palm Beach Tech. We support them. We also support the industry and help those companies grow while also having that long-term approach to building the Palm Beaches into a tech hub. We have over 130 or so members. We have a number of job opportunities on our board. We have some great partners who we work with in the Palm Beaches and beyond. And there's a lot of opportunity here to build, grow companies, or work for some amazing companies as well. And if you're ever interested in learning more about the membership or more about the job opportunities that some of these companies have, please feel free to talk to myself or some of the wonderful people from my team who you'll meet later. Also, this is the Palm Beach Tech Space. We are a co-working space when we are not hosting a awesome event with you guys. We have memberships starting at $75 a month. That includes your coffee, that includes your snacks, that includes cereal. Once a month we do a cereal entrepreneur's breakfast. Get it? Takes a second. All the jokes are free. You don't have to pay for those either. And yes, I will stop if you can use it. But we have fun here, as a lot of people will see. In a day, we apparently have dogs walking around today too, which is awesome. Love that. But this is a really nice place to work. If you know somebody in the greater downtown West Palm Beach area who's ever looking for a space, feel free to stop in or tell them about it. So a couple of things. I wanted to start off the night and tell you guys a little about a cool event that's coming up next week on Thursday called Create Day. So think about your daily lives for a second and realize that everybody in this room is probably behind a computer like I am for 8 hours a day, if not longer. Create Day is supposed to get you away from that. So imagine taking a day from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock and doing everything with your hands, from decorating cupcakes to making flowers, or I guess arranging flowers. You can't make them, that's your Mother Earth. But a day where you can get in touch with your creative side and re-energize yourself. This is going to be March 8th at the Kelsey Theater. As of today, there are still about a dozen tickets left. It's $10, and it's really fun. If you guys work in a creative environment, you want to get out of that for a little bit and sort of take a retreat day with a lot of other awesome creatives. I encourage you guys to check it out. It's createday.us. Stephanie Buzano, who's from our team, who's bad in the back hiding, because then I can't call on her so much. She actually won a $50 gift card to Capital Grill last year, was it? For cupcake decorating. When I saw it, I didn't think she did it. I thought like a chef from Food Network did it. She's very, very talented. But there's a lot of really cool things, a lot of good times you guys can have there, so I encourage you to check it out. Next up, we are going to be hearing from Cheryl Morente. Where is Cheryl? Oh, you know what? I'm so tall that just sometimes I miss everybody right in front of me. I apologize. So Cheryl, if you want to join me up here, Cheryl's working on a really cool project next door that we wanted to share with you guys about. She is the manager
of urban placemaking.
Managing director, assistant to the managing director for regional planning.
No, manager of urban placemaking.
Manager of urban placemaking. She's working on a fantastic project called 12 for 12 that is supporting 12 local retail entrepreneurs right here in West Palm Beach. It's going to be one of the first retail incubators that Palm Beach County has ever seen, and it's going to be right next door. So Cheryl actually wrote the grant for this with a few other folks and raised $180,000 to bring this not just to West Palm Beach, but literally right next door. So everyone, round of applause for Cheryl.
So I'm here today really to pitch to you guys to participate. If you have any ideas, it's not just retail. It actually, you could have a service business in there. You could have an office. it will be multi-use. So we're not just looking at how people are selling things, we're looking at how people are being creative with selling their business and their services to others. We had an inventory through downtown about a year ago. Both Chris Brew, who's the Economic Development Director of West Palm Beach, and myself went around with bikes and found that there's clusters of vacancies throughout all the first floors of downtown West Palm Beach. We mapped them out, and we figured out this project that we pitched to Knight Foundation, where we got our initial $180,000 to start with, on how can we subdivide space with an open plan form and invite people to compete for the space and have subsidized rent so that it's easy to enter the retail or the first floor storefront businesses in this area. Right now we're going to have, for the first part of the competition, it runs until March 26th. It's open to everyone. It's a 30-second pitch video that you submit online to our website, and you fill out the application, which is pretty easy. And this will then live literally next door through the alleyway on a place that will be called the Thoroughfare. This is the old off the hookah space on 314 Clematis. The building will be designed to open both to the street front on Clematis and to the alleyway, as the alleyways are getting designed simultaneously and constructed as well. So just to have a feel of what's going on, there's 14,000 square feet. We'll have micro spaces that can range somewhere around 25 or 50 square feet. We'll have small, medium, and large spaces all the way to 700 square feet. What's interesting about that is, let's say you have an online business, but you want to have to be seen on Main Street. This is a good way to do that. Or let's say that you have something that you do in a warehouse somewhere, but you want people to find your business. This is a good way to also do that. So if you have an existing building, you can actually go ahead and submit to this and see if you get picked so that you have an extension to that existing building, business, or it could be a brand new idea. So both work. The winners will receive at least 2 months of rent for free, and then it'll scale up to market rate. They'll have free marketing and advertisement for the first year. They also will have a video done on their story, so that it gets posted on social media. There will be retail mentoring services through SCORE, a lot of business mentoring, and almost like a little boot camp for that first year. And at the same time, there will be a major opening event, a mid-event, and a final event at that last part of the year. The businesses, really what we're looking for is to set them up to succeed. So for that first year, we're like holding the business hand, but once the year's gone, you should be established and then ready to keep on going. So that's it in a nutshell. And just go to our website, 12x12wpb.com. All the rules are there. This is also, and thanks to the CRA and the City of West Palm Beach, who are putting over almost $1 million worth on redoing that building so that it actually works properly. And there's another $2 million going onto the streetscape on Clematis and the back alleyway. So everything's getting designed at the same time, and construction literally starts in like a month. So we're hoping to be open by the end of this year. So if you have any questions, you can reach me at downtown West Palm Beach, and I guess through you, I guess send an email.
Absolutely.
So, thank you very much.
And thank you, Cheryl. So actually, to bring this full circle, before we even did a grant for West Palm for the Palm Beach Tech Space, we raised $100,000 from Knight Foundation. Cheryl and I remember we were working until like 10 o'clock in a grant for the alleyways like 3 years ago.
That's right.
Because what we wanted to do and what will happen is when you are in Palm Beach Tech Space and you're working on a computer, you can go right through there and see some entrepreneurs that are working with retail, and vice versa. So we're going to have this really neat little microcosm of an entrepreneur community right here, just all within walking distance. So thank you so much for doing that. Next up, we're going to be hearing from, who's done Kickstarter before? Who's bought anything off Kickstarter? All right. So this next gentleman has a Kickstarter that started today. All right. So let's be straight here. You can go online and help him out right now. But I want him to tell you why, because Matteo is a wonderful guy who has been committing the last couple of years of his life to trying to bring a dream to reality. And today he's bringing that to reality. So Matteo, if you want to do your airplay and you're all set to go. Ladies and gentlemen, Matteo Ferrer, the founder of Versatile.
Joe, bear with me as this is trying to airplay onto
Airplay and Bluetooth at the same time.
Bluetooth at the same time. Yeah. Thank you, Joe, again. This is a fantastic space. My name is Matteo Ferrer. I am the CEO of Versatire. And what Versatire is, it's pretty much a dress shirt that I put and designed for the last 3 years that stays tucked in. It's made with super comfortable fabric, and it's a 4-way stretch. And this is a shirt that I'm excited about. Today is our first launch, I guess our first day of the launch for our Kickstarter. So as you can see, we've raised over $1,000, over a $10,000 goal. And what I want to do is just show you our quick Kickstarter video. And I'm going to get that set up right now. So give me 1 second and see if this plays.
And he also bought the beer as well.
Matteo Ferrer, CEO of Versatire, and I created the most comfortable and functional button-down shirt in the world. Let me show you. This is Ryan. Today is an average day of balancing work, responsibilities, and a social life. Not having to go to the cleaners makes for one less worry. Now let's see how Versatire stands the test of an active lifestyle. Through the hustle and bustle of getting to work, not forgetting to indulge in your morning fuel, presentable yet comfortable for the long hours of work. Who has time to change in and out of a gym shirt? While still looking good when you see a stunning lady. To get home and start all over again.
We know our shirts can change the industry, but we need your help. We need to raise $10,000 to bring you the most versatile dress shirt you'll ever wear. So join us by sharing, pledging, and connecting with us to move smarter, sweat less, and stay tucked in.
All right. I have some of those models in here today. Jeremy, Sarah, thank you again for your help, and Carrie for donating some space. So yes, as you can see, we have raised $1,000 as of today, the first day of the launch. We're hoping that you can help us meet that $10,000 goal. I have my beautiful fiance next to just provide you some information. I have our mannequin, Joe, is what I like to call him. You can actually stretch the fabric.
I actually don't have the shirt on.
You don't have the shirt on.
Oh, that's Joe too. Okay.
So you could come to our booth during, after. I'll be here to give you more information about the shirt. And I have a question. Yes.
So what are they going to retail for, and what can we buy?
Absolutely. So with the Kickstarter, there's specific rewards for backing the project. When I'm thinking about the first three rewards, is we're offering $10 off the retail price for the Kickstarter, so that'll be $88. And of course, if you buy the second tier or the third tier, you're getting the shirts for even cheaper because you're buying more shirts. And that's one of the pledges. We have more pledges if you go on. The more amount that you donate.
You have a rewards program the more you buy.
Exactly. And that's it. I don't know if anybody's really familiar with Kickstarter. How Kickstarter works is you pretty much we run a platform. That platform is hosted online, and if I scroll down here, you'll see more information about the shirt, and you'll see the rewards to the right here, starting at $5, $25 to, it goes higher and higher. And it gives all the attributes and information on the shirt to the left. which is all available to you when you visit the site. If you give us your business card, I can make sure that we can get you connect you to our email list so I can send you the link right away, and you can see more information about the shirt. And we're hoping that you can support us. We're trying to reach $10,000. First day, we're 1/10 there, and I would think, yes?
What's the fabric?
The fabric, great question. The fabric is a performance fabric that's a blend. We source everything here in the States, and then we actually have this shirt made in Fort Lauderdale. So we're trying to keep everything local. I have my hand on quality control from the fabric sourcing to actually shipping it to you. So we're a small operation, but we've already sold a couple shirts here in the last couple of years. And we had a front page article on the Palm Beach Coast last year, and then we had to switch up our manufacturers, but we're ready now. Another question.
What motivated you to start this project?
Great question. I'm pretty sure everybody here has lived in Florida for a year or more. You understand how humid it gets, and growing up here, working downtown, I was able to understand that there had to be a better shirt out there that could handle the test of an average workday, whether you're biking, running, or anything, that wouldn't just sweat and give you marks and always untucked when you're going to a meeting. So I tested for a couple of years some fabrics that I thought would be the perfect fabric, and I found it, and that's where Versatire was born. I think I saw a hand over there. If I didn't, no? Oh, there's one. Another question? Mr. Ormus.
Do you have dress shirts that are not for athletes? Just tech guys, sweaty guys.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we're doing. A dress shirt made for athletes. It kind of stands out. The shirt is made for anybody, whether you're an athlete or just an office worker. We say made for athletes because it performs like an athletic shirt. Your shirt that you wear to the gym, it's made of the same material. We think it performs better. And another question.
Just one more question.
How many colors do you offer?
2 right now, white and black. Your staples that you have in your closet. Everybody in here has a white and black shirt. So when we reach that goal, we're going to be expanding to different colors and hopefully different prints.
What about women?
Women, we do have a women's shirt. That's not something we're really paying. I know we're running over time. That's not something we have on the Kickstarter, but we do have women's shirts that are ready to be shipped out. And if you wanted to learn more about women's shirts, please see me during or after. And thank you again for your time. I'm here to answer more questions. Last one.
What about bigger people?
Bigger people, yes. I had questions about that early on. And so on this second run, we added a double XL shirt for those larger individuals. And you can certainly, we have some shirts here that if you wanted to try on, there's bathrooms, we can help you try on. Not help you. You can just try on. Thank you.
And I'm still upset with you.
Yeah.
Because I was number 2 and I wanted to be number 1 this morning when you launched this thing.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to talk about that.
All right, I forgot to do one thing to show you that it doesn't tuck. So I'm not wearing a belt, and I just tucked it in, and I'm gonna stretch. I'm gonna do my thing, and it stays tucked in. So
Cartwheel.
there we go.
So thank you to Matt for. I remember seeing this. I feel like it's a couple of years ago now when we were talking about this. I mean, I think honestly, through everything that you've done over the past 2 years, it's wonderful to see this come to fruition. It's absolutely amazing. And if nobody recognized the guy with the American flag, that was Jeremy over here running the video. And actually, I think, was it Subculture that you guys first met? Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
I was there when they first met, and then they're, as of last month, they're happily engaged. So congratulations to them. So again, Versatire, check it out if you know anybody that might be interested. Give them their website. This is not only just a great product, but support a great local company and a guy who's just trying to really get things going. There's nothing really better than to, it's a feel-good thing to say, hey, I got a shirt, but hey, I also helped out this guy, Matt. So make sure you go check that out. Versatire again. But hey, Aaron, can you switch back to AirPlay for me? Are you a
PC guy.
All right, so next up, we talked about how some things came to fruition. We're going to be hearing from a gentleman by the name of Aaron Warnes. For those of you that don't know him, you might know him by his better name, A Guy in Clematis. He is famous for that little Twitter handle and everything here. But on top of that, he is the CTO, the Chief Technology Officer, at a little company called SmartX Advisory Services right here in downtown, formerly known as Hedgeco. They've been one of the original downtown technology companies in the modern era. They've been here for over 10 years. Aaron came here from Europe in part to work with them. But more than anything, there have been very few people to add so much to technology and to the community field of it in this area than Aaron. Through his efforts, we saw Web Monday, one of the first tech meetups ever in Palm Beach County. We also saw Startup Weekend in part because of him. And we've seen many, many great things happen because of his efforts. So we wanted to allow him some time to talk about what his company does at SmartX. So everyone, round of applause for Aaron Normus. All right. I gotta put it on. There we go.
Can you get that up here so that I can?
Yeah, I got it.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, Joe. That was a great way to bring me on the stage. Just another shout out to Mateo. I've known him for many, many years. He used to work for the city of West Palm Beach, and he's always had this dream to create this thing. So as soon as I remember my Facebook password, I'm going to log into Kickstarter and buy that shirt. All right. So, and this is really interesting because who follows the guy on Comatis here on the internet? A couple people. The rest of you, go ahead and follow that. I have a fairly popular Twitter account. But a lot of people ask me, what is it that you really do? Like, we know that you're wandering around Comatis Reef all day and posting stuff on the internet. But what is it that you really do? So our company is SmartX Advisory Services. It is the first UMA/SMA platform providing advisors access to institutional quality managers offering traditional and alternative investment strategies, as well as individual securities, mutual funds, ETFs, and single brokerage account. Who understood what that is? No. One person, yay! I think I already told you what that was. So, okay, so what we do is, there's supposed to be a picture here. It's okay. So what we do essentially is we're the tool that your financial advisor uses, after they've done that initial risk questionnaire with you. How much money can you possibly lose? How much money do you want to gain? How risky strategies do you want to have? Once they get all that information from you, they'll come to a platform like ours. It's called a turnkey asset management program, and they'll put all that information in, and we'll give them the opportunity to select specific financial products, which you will then be invested in. So basically, they use us to find, whether it's mutual funds, ETFs, normal equities, or our own products. And one of the things that's really unique about the way we work is that we can actually use third-party managers. Another financial advisor who's created this basket of stocks, I can then invest in that basket of stocks from my account. So, I'm going to do a quick demo of the platform, and then we'll go into the technical side of it. But first, who here has a financial advisor? Who actually, okay, wait, so we have 2, 3 people. Wow. Who invests by themselves? All right, so a lot more people. That's very interesting. And who doesn't invest at all? Or does something that's completely different? So, all right. So, let's do a quick demo. And I think I find this really fascinating because I come from the tech side. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for SmartX. And a lot of the stuff I just had absolutely no idea how it actually worked in the real world. And I was talking to someone who was telling me about their product, explaining how when they first started, they were over here. And when developing their product, they pivoted, like the Friends guys moving up the stairs, until now they're over here. And that's very much what happened with our company, starting off as a hedge fund product replication platform, turning into asset management turnkey product. So, what am I doing? Can I get the laptop so I can do it? All right. Can I unplug this? No.
So Aaron has a wonderful company, but one of the things that I think is most important to note, he hires a lot of young people, a lot of junior level talent, and he helps coach them up. And he's employing 9 people, 5 of which he's hired over the past 2 years to help train them up, not only to do some of the work that he talked about, but some of their past projects as well. And that's really important when we think about technology, so we can talk about how we build a better ecosystem. So I'm going to really quick switch up the Facebook Live just so we can get prepared for our next speaker. If anyone wants to play the Jeopardy theme, you can do so now. No one, just me? Okay. System isn't as easy to work with as you would think. So, perfect. With a raise of hands, who has heard of MyTaskit? Who works for MyTaskit? Okay, a few people. So, for those of you that do not know, MyTaskit is a task coordination platform that is focused on B2C right now. What you do not know is MyTaskit is actually founded by an awesome gentleman who is probably one of the best entrepreneurs in Palm Beach County, named Kevin Hutchinson. Long story short, before Palm Beach Tech was ever founded, so over about 3 years ago, I reached out to Kevin to talk to him about the idea of a technology organization for Palm Beach County, an organization that now has over 130 people and has thousands of technology professionals as part of it. And not only did he take the meeting, he actually met with me for 2 hours to talk about the entire vision of the organization. He was one of the first members, he was one of the first board members. So when we think about, really leading by example and talking about tech hubs, Kevin really does that. But there's really a better introduction to be had for Kevin, and I'd like to bring out Cam Collins, who is a friend, a colleague of Kevin's, and who is
So I'm going to be very, very brief.
He didn't want to give this introduction about meeting him.
I said to Joe, I said, Joe, forget the intro because we're going to run it long here. But I really, so my whole pitch is I'm going to give you the reason why you should listen to Kevin, okay? I owned and operated a business called Dockmaster here in the Palm Beaches for 10 years. It's a company that actually supplies ERP solution to the marine industry. Think boat yards, boat dealerships, marinas. You guys have all seen these and know what these are. And back in October of 2013, I had the fortune to actually sell that business to the man you get ready to meet. And running a company for 10 years, I think a lot of you have been in business for a while, and some of you are just thinking about maybe starting your very, very first company. But regardless of how long you've been in business, when you've kind of been doing it for a while, like, I kind of know a lot about this whole business thing. I kind of get this, right? So I sold the company to Kevin, and I had the great fortune to actually work for Kevin for 5 years at MyTaskit. In May of last year, Kevin sold that company to a firm out of Montreal called Valsoft. And Valsoft has asked me to come in and actually run that business. And I learned an amazing amount from Kevin in that 5-year period. Kevin grew the Dockmaster business in that 5-year period significantly, or actually it was a 4-year period. And now that I'm running Dockmaster, we're a better company because of it, and a lot of that is because of Kevin. So my whole thing is, please listen to Kevin. If you learn just this little amount compared to what I've learned from Kevin over the past 4 years, I think it would be a great use of your time. Thank you.
So Kevin, I'm going to hand you the baton that you gave me 2 years ago. Baton, I mean this little clicker thing that does PowerPoint.
I wonder where that went. Loaned it. I didn't know I gave it. Now I know.
Oh,
now I know where it is.
Oh, so it's well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Hutchinson.
Thank you.
Round of applause.
So I heard you say 5 years. It was like it did feel like 5 years. It was only 3.5. Right? Just 3.5. And it felt like 5. But hey, thanks for the nice introduction. That was great. I can't live up to that. But. So you knew an old guy was going to walk up here, right? You're like, oh, that's kind of a long introduction. That many companies. Got to be an old guy coming up here. So I'm hoping what I can share with you is I've started 4 companies, all software companies. Prior to that, I worked in the corporate world, IBM, 10 years, then Oracle, Then I got the hunch. I was impatient. I wanted to do things faster. So one of the reasons I got out of the corporate world was to start these kind of software companies. And I started in the healthcare world, did one of the first electronic medical record systems out there. We built that up. We sold it to GE. Another company was a physician portal. We built up, we sold to WebMD. And I started another company that maybe all of you have been a part of. If you've been to the doctor and they write a prescription and they send it to the pharmacy electronically, that goes across our network called SureScripts. We connected all of the nation's pharmacies to all of the nation's physicians, and we manage and route all the prescriptions that go electronically. We didn't build the systems that doctors use, and we didn't build the systems that pharmacies use. We built a network that connected all the things together. So think of it like a big ATM network, but you've got to have transactions flowing between the pharmacies and the doctors. So after that, I got the itch again, because it's, my wife says, you cannot keep a job. I'm like, I know, I'm getting in 4 or 5 years I'm in, and I'm getting bored, and I want to do something else. So I started another one called MyTaskit, which you've heard a lot about. It's a lot of the learnings that we did in the healthcare field. It's a work coordination software platform that we're focused on service companies to help service companies better coordinate work within their businesses, with their subcontractors, and also with their own customers, giving them an app and a portal of a way to engage with some of their most loyal customers. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about today is kind of the lessons learned along the way in building those various different companies. So there's 12 lessons. I heard the other 12 somewhere else. So we're going to go through these 12 lessons across 4 companies. Okay, and I'll give you some examples of the things I'm talking about within those companies, but other examples that support some of these learnings along the way. So startups are like children. How many people in here are parents? Okay, for those that aren't, you're going to learn. Children have their own life of their own. As much as you want to believe you're in charge, you are not in charge. They're going to grow up, and they're going to be who they're going to be. You guide them along the way, you give them the best guidance you can, but as we all know, every child is a little bit different. So in my world, you've got ornery children, mad children, happy children, but they're all going to do their own thing. They're different personalities. I have 2 girls. I have a 16-year-old, and I have a 14-year-old, and that world is an entirely different world, especially when they hit that teenage years. So as much as I'd like to tell you that, once you learn how to do this, you can do it over and over and over again, and this is my 4th, every one of them are different. Every one of them have their own unique life, their own unique teams, their own unique things. The experience helps from being able to know, because I've been a parent before, so I can have another child, I know what to do, but they're still going to run through the same phases each time. As much as you have knowledge, you're going to hit pitfalls, you're going to hit walls, you're going to have to bust through those walls, you're going to have to stay tenacious as you go through it, no matter if you've done it once, never done it before, or if you're on your 4th one. So just remember that. Startup are like children, and you've got to treat them like children. You've got to have a mind of their own, you give them guidance, you move them in the direction they need to go, but you can't necessarily control what's going to happen with that child. You can only give it the right guidance and move it in the right direction. If you put your arms around that and try to control everything they do, that startup will fail, I can promise you. You've got to let it breathe. You've got to see where it's going to take you. It is so much like a river, and it's going to move in its own directions, in its own ways. You just got to know when to tap. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. First movers are not always the best. I was in the dot-com world as well. We had a big dot-com. We had 1,200 employees in 3 different locations, and we were burning through $10 million a month in cash. And guess what our investors were telling us to do? Go faster. Spend more. Go faster. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And of course, those same investors were, I'm going to come back to that in a second. Those same investors were the ones that when the market turned, why aren't we making money? And they expect you to turn on a dime within a quarter to be able to turn that around into something else. But first movers, the adage back in that day was first mover advantage. Anybody heard that? The adage, right? First mover advantage, first mover advantage. First movers aren't always the best. They can be, but when you are a first mover in a market, you do need to move fast. And you will be burning a lot of cash because there will be people coming in right behind you kind of taking an idea you had, morphing it into something else, maybe making it even a little bit better, and you're now leading in that market. But I'm going to show you some examples of where first movers aren't necessarily the best, right? Anybody remember this? Friendster, kind of the first major social network, right? Before Facebook, before anything else. Okay, well, Friendster is actually only in Asia now. It doesn't even really exist. Not that you can stop the internet from being in all across the world, but no one uses it here anymore, right? But this was the leading edge. This was going to be it from a Facebook standpoint. How about the Apple Newton? Really cool, right? I even bought one. I was on the plane trying to figure out how to use it, and I just, handwriting was kind of interesting, cool, but, just not really a really first foray into what we're going to do with PDAs and tablets and things like that, right? First mover, but not always the best. People figure out, they morph, they figure out the weaknesses of it, what worked, what didn't work, and it's all in public, right? Because they can buy your product and they can re-engineer it. You can just take the thing apart and re-engineer it. So, and then my favorite. I love TiVo. Love TiVo. But what did TiVo do that was just really destroyed, right? They got into a battle with the actual content providers and the media. Who's in control? And TiVo had certain rules and profit margins and everything else, and they weren't going to allow their TiVo boxes to be distributed. DirecTV, they got in a really big battle with DirecTV. And then they said, we'll make our own. So the DVR was born, but it was the generic DVR that the satellite companies and the cable companies and other people would just build themselves. But this had the best interface. It had the best ability to, go back and forth on the movies and record the stuff. It was the leader, and it was going nuts, right? First mover, but didn't adapt fast enough to what the market was going to need for it to be able to explode, and it got crushed. All right, I love this. Where's Brian? So Brian, there's my product owner over here for MyTaskit. So I'm always, product's ready. It's ready. Come on, we got to get this out in the market. Not so much. Not quite ready. We still have this and this. And not sure that we've got one more release that we need to be able to get in. Oh, come on, the product's ready. This is the biggest debate you'll probably have inside your company. The MVP, right? The minimal viable product. What is the minimal viable product that users are actually going to adopt? And you're going to meet with a lot of customers, a lot of business partners. You're going to look at a lot of competition. You're going to try and figure out what is the MVP, what is the minimum. Everybody's got the buzzwords, right? The reality is what will they buy? What will they use? You've got to bring the product to market at some point. I've seen software products, in development for years that never make the light of day, and then they run out of cash. Like, we were this close. Wow, that was a big development project. But then those technologies get sold off and they end up being used in other ways. But you've got to bring a product to market. And some people are fearful of doing that because of what? First mover advantage, or they'll see it, I'm going to show it to somebody. I remember we used to go to trade shows, and competitors used to always come into your trade show booth and they want to get a demo of your product, right? And we're like, you can't see it. You're my competitor. You can't see it. They're going to get to see it anyway. They're going to go to one of your clients, or they're going to get on the internet. They're going to see the product. Just show them the product. Ask them what they think about it. What's all the... So, the product ready MVP. Give you some examples where that is not the case. This is not real. So, but the point of the bridges is this is poor planning. And a product being ready or not ready, it starts with the planning. It starts with understanding how these things are, when is it going to come together and be delivered, right? I hope that's not an actual picture. But here's actual, GoPro. You guys saw, this is recent, right? So they're Karma drones. 2,500 of these things dropping out of the sky because the batteries didn't work. They were losing power, right? They had to recall the entire line. That product is not ready. It did not get the right testing. Maybe it's a supplier issue with the battery, but something about that is not right? So you don't have to be a small company, to get it wrong. Another one, love this one, McDonald's. Oh, this is a great idea. We're going to put these StepFit watches out here, and we're going to it's kids. We're going to get kids. Okay, it causes rashes and skin irritation. They had to pull the whole thing and drop the product that they were giving away within. No, the product is not ready yet, right? All the testing going on there. My favorite one. Everybody knows this one, right? So here's the Samsung Galaxy Note 7, banned by every airline out there. You cannot have this, you cannot get on our plane. If you are carrying, I don't care if it's even turned off, you cannot get on our plane. It's not even allowed to be on the plane, right? That is a bad PR day. I can remember when I got on the plane, and they announced on the plane, if you have a Galaxy Note 7, you need to exit the plane. That is really not a good day, right? The product is not ready. So you really have to do a very good job of understanding what's going to be the MVP, but how much testing can you put into this thing to deliver it? Because if you fall on your face with the product, it's hard to recover. Now, if you've got gazillions of dollars, you can recover and come out with a new product, hire the PR specialist, and you can recover. But when you're a small startup, very, very difficult to do. By the way, many of these are going to be Captain Obvious, okay? So just go with the commercial. I am Captain Obvious on some of this. This used to say you can never go too fast. You can never go too fast. But we'd always have investors say, faster, faster, you need to go faster. You can never go too fast. This touches on what I was talking about before. This is one of my daughter's favorite characters now, right, with Flash, right? But we always get pressure in the boardroom. We were a publicly traded software company at the time, and we've done private companies. And it was like, you've got to move quicker, 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 quicker. And then the exact same thing of going quicker. Are you the bird or are you the worm? You better know which one you are, because the early bird may catch the worm, but if you're the worm, it's not a good day, right? So who are you? Are you the bird or are you the worm? Because what they're focused on is this, cash flow. Whether it's your own money that's in the company or whether it's investors' money in the company, they're going to talk about cash flow. And I love this cartoon about the investors want them to lower their cash burn, so they started burning smaller dollar bills. But they're still burning it. But it is all going to come down to cash burn. Manageable cash burn. You're going to know, what is it? Is it $10,000 a month? Is it $200,000 a month? What's an acceptable cash burn? A lot of that depends upon what your trajectory are on your markets, right? And what time frame. Go talk to Magic Leap, or go talk to some of these other guys, and hey, millions and gazillions of dollars a month cash burn is just fine. In fact, do more. But it depends on your product, depends on your market, depends on what you're trying to prove. Which gets to this, prove value before growth. A lot of people think if I can just get out there and I can sell it, I can get 1,000 units in the hands of people, I can go raise money. But if you haven't proven value, if you haven't proven what your product, the problem it's trying to solve, if you haven't been able to prove that you can scale, even if it's 100 units, or 1,000 units, or 10,000 units, when you go out and raise money, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to see your go-to-market plan. Show me the value. What problem are you solving, and how are you going to market? Can you scale this? Do you have that level of experience to be able to do that? Even if you just take over a town, a city, and prove that once you drop in a place that you can actually scale this up, you don't have to have 100,000 units. If you have 1,000 units and you prove that you can scale and you're solving a very big problem that goes across markets and across regions and geography, you can raise capital. But if you go sell 1,000 units in a lot of different places and you don't have a good go-to-market plan and you're not really sure, how you're going to actually scale within a certain geography, they're really not going to raise any money. It's like, well, it's interesting. Yeah, you've sold 1,000 units, but I don't really get the feel that you know how you're going to go in and what problem you're solving and how are you going to scale, the problem. So I found this. I'm going to give credit to the Garage Technology Ventures. I love this. In fact, didn't even know it existed. I was doing stuff, grabbing for this presentation, so I was stealing from everybody on the internet I possibly could with what I was trying to show. This is great. This is something everybody that's doing a startup or any kind of company, you should be able to complete the lines in here, the space, the blanks. You should be able to describe what product you sell, to what customers, what reason do they buy your product, what's your advantage over your competition, when will you become profitable, in what quarter, how many units should you do, right? Through a combination of what? Channel partners and direct sale. If you can answer just these bullets and fill in these blanks, you have a great story to tell. You have a great story to tell investors. And it's harder than you think. Once you sit down and actually start trying to fill in the blanks on this, it's a little harder than you think. Because you're like, well, it's basic. I'll send everybody these slides, by the way. You can have them all. This is debatable. Half of the room will agree, the other half of the room will say, that's not right. I am of the opinion, and maybe it's because of the corporate thing. Maybe if I hadn't done the corporate thing, I would never put this up. You can never put controls inside your company too early. You really need to know, your cap table, obviously, and your balance sheet. But when you can't produce some of these things, it's very difficult to raise capital. But as you go up this ladder, you're getting more controls around your business model. One of the things I always do is I like to create an Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to create one thing. And that one Excel spreadsheet, it's our budget, it's our business planning model, all the variables are there. I can change the variables on how many growth rates I think I'm going to get, how many support calls can a support desk take, and everything spits out as to how many headcount support I'm going to need. How many sales do I think we can do? How many units can one salesperson do on an annualized basis? And if I say 100 or if I say 5,000, it spits out how many headcount I'm going to need for that, right? You build that. Now that's my budget. It's my planning tool. It's my model. It's my world. And I use that to actually plan about variability because it's never going to go to plan, by the way. You know that, right? If you can lay out those plans, it's never going to go to plan. Even when you're on number 4 and it doesn't go to plan. But what are you going to do about it? How are you going to change what you're working on? How are you going to change your tactics, right, when it doesn't go to plan? But it's always good to have a plan, but be ready to change that plan. But this kind of monitoring and these management tools to be able to see whether or not you're being successful. Are you getting the leads you need to get? Are they closing in the percentage you think they should close? Why not? If not, why not? Right? These are great tools to have in place. Not just the financial side, but actually the planning side. I love this. Pick your partners well. So I'll tell you a story about one of my companies. So I was the COO. I wasn't the CEO. I was hired to come in and help fix this company. It's publicly traded. And this is one that was burning $10 million a month in cash. I didn't know that until I got in, actually, which is kind of funny and stupid. I didn't even really do a lot of research because the friends of mine were the chairman and the CEO of the company. And I was like, hey, Kyle, you want to come help us? Sure, I'll come do this. This is cool. I love what you guys are doing. Got in there, and they're like, okay, we need to get our burn down. Okay, well, give me the financial statements. I'll take a look at it. Wow, there's some zeros on here I didn't expect. Right? You got in there. Well, one of the things was AOL. This was back in the .com craze. We were paying AOL an enormous amount of money for clicks and click-throughs and eyeballs and all these wonderful things that weren't producing any leads or any real revenue for us other than we were reporting to the street how many clicks we were getting, how many eyeballs we were getting, and people thought we were doing this until they weren't doing this. Right? And it's like, I don't care about eyeballs anymore. I don't care about click. I care about money. I care about revenue. I care about sales. Now, granted, if we had an advertising model, which we did not, if we had an advertising model, those things actually translate into money, right? So we had to go into this pick your partners well. I started negotiating with AOL, and that was going to go nowhere. Because I said, well, we got to cut this down. We're not getting this. We're not paying this because we're not. Oh, we can put you guys on the front page and you immediately get your hits up. Yeah, and then you take us off the front page and our hits go down. You put us back on the front page and our hits go up. Like, no, we need out of this. This is not, our business pivoted. We're not interested in this anymore. We just need to get out of this. We still had 3 more years left on the contract. Well, what do you think the answer was? Right? No, we're not my problem. Thank you, but you're still going to pay, or we'll sue. Okay. Well, then a beautiful thing happened. So AOL is merging with Time Warner, right? And this gets big announced. And there's this big Wall Street Journal article about how the Justice Department is looking at this merger, and they're going to see if it's actually negatively impacting small companies. That's an interesting thing. Pick up the phone, talking to the general counsel again at AOL. So, well, this is really killing us as a company. This is going to put us under. This is really going to. I think this one contract is really going to negatively impact our company. And he's like, well, we don't see it that way. Well, I don't know. I got this Wall Street Journal article guy, and he's calling, and I'm doing an interview. What are we going to do here? Right? In 24 hours, that contract was canceled. And I got a call back from the lead counsel of AOL who said, what do we need to do to make this go away? Well, here's what we need to do. You need to send me a cancellation. And I'd like a refund for the last 30 days, by the way. And we got it. But pick your partners well. Here's somebody who didn't pick a partner well, right? Sharper Image. Love Sharper Image. I used to love all those products. I used to go in the stores and spend all the time. Until what? Until they hooked up with this company, the Ionic Breeze. Do you remember this thing?
Yep.
Right? It's cleaning all the air. It's making noise. It's ions. It's killing. Turned out it was polluting the air. It's not cleaning the air. It's polluting the air. And this all comes out. Lawsuits go crazy. Right? Sharper Image is in the middle of it. This killed Sharper Image. They had all this cool stuff, but the Ionic Breeze was the reason that Sharper Image, you don't see Sharper Image around anymore. I would pick your products, or your partners in this case, a little bit better. How about this, right? Well, this is the movie screenshot, but this is Facebook, right? Here's two guys, started out really, really well, but one guy not trusting the other guy, one guy not as visible as the other guy, according to the movie, and next thing you know, this didn't work out. I know, this guy's still sitting on the beach somewhere, really, really happy, but he had to go through a lot of lawsuits. Yeah, exactly. But, you know, this is probably, he would have rather been part of the growth than rather than part of that company growing up. So pick your partners well. That's my favorite, AOL Time Warner. So it went, actually, I ended up on a company after this company that the guy that did the AOL Time Warner deal, that was the general counsel, was on the board of that company. So he ended up telling me all kinds of stories about the AOL Time Warner. This was actually a merger that could have worked out well. It was way ahead of its time. It was trying to bring two media giants, two content giants together, old school and new school. But what didn't go well is culture. We'll talk a little about that in just a second. This was a huge culture clash. But they also didn't know how to bring these things together. It made sense on paper and in theory, but it didn't make sense in practicality that these two worlds could come together in the time frame that they were trying to bring them together. All right, culture is the founder's priority. It's my responsibility. You do not outsource or delegate culture. You have to take responsibility for the culture that you want to create inside of your organization, whatever that culture may be. Define what those elements are of the culture. How do you want your company to operate? How you want your team and your employees to feel when they come to work on a daily basis. Certainly life balance is always the center of a lot of this stuff. But let's face it, I mean, it's really hard to get life balance these days. You have to weave in life into work, right? You choose these worlds, even if you're not in a startup world, you have to weave in life in work anymore. I tell my girls all the time, because you know they don't know about the 8 to 5. My daughter, she every day comes home complaining about homework. I've got 2, and she does have a lot of homework. I didn't have that much homework growing up at her age. She has a ton. She's up to like 9:30, 10 o'clock every night doing homework. 4 or 5 hours a night of homework. I'm just blown away by that. She can't wait for the day she's out of school and go to work. I'm like, okay, we need to have a talk. And I'm not, she said, that's not good news. No, it's not, but here's what you got to do. You got to weave in life. You know, I tell my team, look, take a break, take an afternoon. You know, you're working days, nights, whatever. There's no 8 to 5, 9 to 5. It's not, you weave it in, but certainly take time off. You're going to hit that. We have a thing in our employee handbook. None of them use it, but they should. That is unlimited sanity days. So if you've just knocked yourself out for 3 or 4 days, you could take a day off, 2 days off, whatever. Those are unlimited sanity days. Those are not holidays. Those are not vacation days. Right? You're just supposed to kind of regroup, right? You do have a life outside work. But I love this. This is our mission statement. That's our mission statement. Make it to the weekend. Now that may very well be your culture, right? We're going to bust it hard. We're going to bust it hard all the way to Friday, but make it to the weekend. That's our mission statement. I love that. This is also a pretty good one. So this is what kind of culture are you going to build around management? How much micromanagement might you possibly do, right? So this obviously didn't go very well with their definition of it. That didn't help. Yeah, she wants honesty in the culture, but he doesn't want necessarily honesty in that culture. This is another good one. The guy really wants to be a startup innovation. I can't tell you how many people come in and want to be part of a startup, but they don't even know what that means, right? So in this case, the guy wants to build a culture that's around startup innovation, but then as you lay out what that might entail, he actually wishes that we don't get any of that. What do you call that if we don't do any of that stuff? But they want the startup, the flexible hours and the cool gear, Now, I put this in here for a reason. You got to be careful. When you start culture from day one, it's extremely hard to change culture years into this. Once you've started down a path, you've started down a path. It's much harder to change that culture. I was at IBM when they tried to change the culture. When I first showed up out of college, I was an intern, and I walked in, and I had a blue shirt on and a red tie and a suit, and thought I was really cool. And the branch manager pulls me over, and he says, you know, when you get through changing the oil in his car, you can change the oil in my car, because I had a blue shirt on. It was white shirts, red ties, blue suits. That's the way it was. That's the IBM way. Well, I was there when that all started transitioning, you know, no more ties, no more suits. You should see the guys, they did not know what to do. They're showing up in their suits and their shirts, and there's no tie, but they got a short sleeve shirt on with a golf shirt with a suit on. You're like, what is going on there? That is just, all thing about that is wrong, right? It is really hard to change cultures. A lot of people refused. They did not like it. They kept wearing the suits, you know, all the way through retirement. They're not going to change. But that's only one element of the culture that they were trying to change. We need to move faster. We need to price things faster. We did lots of things that IBM needed to do faster just to survive. Because the culture actually started making IBM not be competitive. And that had to change. This is an actual example of Zappos, which I love Zappos culture. Have you used Zappos here before? Right? Awesome shoe company. My wife does it all the time. She orders 15 of these shoes, and they show up. I'm like, oh, no, go. I'm sending 10 of them back. Because this is what they encourage it. You order them, you try them on, you see if you like them. The ones you don't like, you put them in a box, you send them back. Right? And then Amazon, of course, you know, gobbles them up, right? It's like, oh, well, we like this, right? But they let Zappos continue their culture. But this is an actual, you know, defining what those culture items might be in a real company. My team is going, have we done that yet? Done our culture? No, not really. Know when to pivot. But there's another key word in here, if to pivot. These are, we talk a lot. It's a popular word in startups, pivot. What does it mean? Change. You know, I was liking this back in my sailing days where I know where I'm going. I know I'm in a race. I know I'm trying to get to that finish line. But I have no idea yet how I'm going to get there. I know there's marks that I have to get around in a race when you're doing around the buoy kind of racing. But you've got the wind, you've got the depths, you've got the competition, you've got all kinds of variables that change whether you're going to go this way this long, go this way this long. But eventually I'm going to get to where I'm going, and I hope I get there first. So you're looking at a ton of different variables, and you're having to decide, when do I pivot? Do I pivot? It's not always wise to pivot. Sometimes you stick with it. Sometimes you say, nope, we're staying the course. Sometimes you say, we're going to slightly go. Or other times you say, no, we're completely doing a 180. This is the reason why. I'll give you some examples of that. MailChimp. So they started out as a design consulting firm, right? And they're getting all these requests for newsletters and email newsletters and all this other stuff. And he finally started building it for himself, for his own clients. Next thing you know, MailChimp is born, a 400 million run rate business that was born out of a design consulting firm that only did it for their own effort. I love the next one, Shopify. You guys ever heard of this one? So they start out as a snowboarding e-commerce company, right? And they need a shop cart solution to put into their e-commerce platform, and they can't find the one that they're looking for that fits what they're doing. So they build it themselves, and they find out, wow, there's a lot of other people who like this shop cart thing we built. So we're going to license this thing out. Next thing becomes a business, and it's $1 billion valuation, you know, at an IPO. They pivoted, figured it out. I'm not really in the snowboarding e-commerce business. I'm actually in the shop cart business. Okay, good pivot. That's a major pivot. And then here's another example. I love this just because of the story behind it. But here's a lady who actually was a teacher, was looking for better ways to train and do tutorials and videos and teach people how to do development, right? Couldn't find the content she was looking for, so she starts just building it herself. Stays the course for a decade or whatever, however, 10 years, whatever it might be, and then ends up selling it to LinkedIn for $1.5 billion. Stayed the course for years and years and years, continuing to build out this content. There was no pivot there. That goes back to that know when to pivot and know if to pivot. and stayed at it and turned out to be very profitable. Fail fast is another common word we all love to hear, but fail fast is actually true. But it depends on what you mean by fail fast. So I did not know, actually for a while, that Facebook even attempted this because I wasn't paying much attention to what Facebook was doing at the time, but they tried to come out with their own phone, right? They failed fast. They got out of it pretty quickly. Same kind of thing with Twitter. Who knew? Did anybody know that Twitter came out with their own hardware? I didn't either. So that really failed fast. So they came out with it, tried it, canned it, moved on, right? But they attempted it, see if they could fit into the PDA market or the mobile market or whatever, and they killed it. It's one of my favorite. Bubble wrap. The bubble wrap started out as wallpaper, and it was a new textured wallpaper. Which my daughter, who loves to pop bubble wrap, I'm sure she would just sit here and bust this stuff up. Well, then they tried to pivot from being wallpaper, and it wasn't until IBM actually said, "Oh, we can wrap this around some big computers, and we'll ship computers using this wallpaper," right? And then bubble wrap found its market as a shipping material. It started out as wallpaper. You gotta love that. WD-40. Anybody know what the 40 stands for?
40th iteration.
Exactly. So 39 times they did not get it right? But the pivot is they use this stuff where they wipe it on to missile skins. And they used it as an anti-corrosion for the skins outside of missiles and rockets and all that wonderful stuff. And what happened is some of the employees started taking it home and started using it for other stuff. And then someone said, "Oh, there could be a consumer play here. Oh, we should put this in an aerosol can." Put it in an aerosol can, put a consumer play, and WD-40 as a consumer product is born. Pacemaker. So this actually started out to measure the rhythm of the heart, to hear the rhythm of the heart. Kind of like an EKG machine. It was really huge. It was a big thing. They could hear the EKG. Is it normal? Is it not normal? The guy took out the wrong resistor, put in a different resistor, heard the heartbeat, and figured out that actually he could create this in a smaller version and actually keep the heart in rhythm. But that's not what he set out to do. But he pivoted to this other thing and turned out to be very, very successful. I didn't even know this happened either. You might know that Coors got in the bottled water business? So Coors tried to get into bottled water business because why? Because the Rocky Mountain spring water, right? And then I don't know if you guys remember this, but then it broke that actually their spring water comes from Virginia. So no one really understood that for a while. Well, when that broke out, that sent Coors actually putting this product on the shelf. But they failed fast. You got to give them an A for trying, right? They got in the bottled water market. It's a huge water market. A lot of water goes into beer. We're going to try this thing. Didn't work because everybody just wants to drink beer from Coors. I don't want to drink Coors water. And then the labeling also didn't help them because people weren't really clear if it was beer or if it was water because it's from Coors. So maybe a different brand would have been, better. But okay, I can say this because I've got the white hair up here, right? So experience only gets you so far. And we talked before about the children, right? So you may know a lot of what you need to do, but you've got to keep an open ear to those that may be not as experienced as you in doing these things, but have great, great ideas. And so keep that open mind about maybe it's not what your plan was. Maybe there is, something else that you should be doing with respect to the product or going to market or something else like that. But experience really only gets you so far. And here's some examples of where it may not have gotten very far. Remember Next Computer? So the great Steve Jobs, right? Love him. Did wonderful things at Apple. But when he left, he could not get this really off the ground. As much as he tried, as much as experience as he had, he was trying to do something and build something at a price point that the market just wasn't there for that price point. A supercomputer in a smaller time frame at $2,500 wasn't going to work, right? So experience sometimes doesn't work. I love this. Blockbuster. I could never figure out why Blockbuster never got into the online video rental business, right?
I can tell you why.
Yeah, so let me tell you a little story about that, and I want to hear that story. So Blockbuster, Hutchinson. Hutchinson didn't start Blockbuster, but he got very involved in it in 1987, right? In 87, we started buying up stores. And then, guess who came knocking on their door in year 2000? Netflix. Right. They could have bought Netflix at that meeting for $50 million. And they laughed them out of the room. Laughed them out of the room. Isn't that crazy? Now it's worth billions, right? And where's Blockbuster? Right? And these were the smartest guys in the room, right? They were smart. They're the video rental company. We're smart. They did try Blockbuster.com. They did try, video rental. There's all kinds of other nuances to the story. But the crazy thing to me about the whole story is that they had a chance to buy Netflix for $50 million and turned it down. That's not the smartest guy in the room, but probably had a lot of experience. You may have another story to share.
It was Viacom bought Blockbuster out. I was actually in the technologies department.
Yeah.
We were developing a competitor. We would have crushed Netflix.
Yeah.
But Viacom bought them out, and
It was
everybody dispersed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have been a great story.
Oh, it would have been. They had the brand.
They had the brand. They had
the
Blockbuster
distribution, had the
awards,
content,
they
had the
content. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, rest in peace. Virgin mega stores. Remember those music stores? Love those, right? So again, very, very experienced. And by the way, Sir Richard Branson is my idol. I follow a person that is about startups and actually knowing how to do this. The guy's amazing, and I love his blogs. I love all the things that he does. Also in helping people, and just a really, really great human being. But this didn't go so well. So again, a lot of experience, a lot of hoopla when these things got announced and launched, but just missed the market, missed the space. So experience doesn't always get it for you. Now this is not experience, but I found this in getting ready for this meeting. I wanted to share it. Did you know that Paul Allen and Gates, they actually created, before they ever built Microsoft, they created a traffic meter. You know those things we run over with, and they measure how many cars are on the highway and on the roads and all that stuff. And they put the rubber. Well, they used to have these paper, like teletape things, that as you would go across, it would punch a hole in paper tape. And then they give the paper tape to somebody who had to then create a report out of it. And they came up with a different way in which to measure it in real time without having to do the measuring of the paper tape and the interpretation of the paper tape. Anyway, it didn't work because then the states got involved, and there's other reasons why this thing failed. But it's really amazing to me that I had no idea that Gates and Allen's first hookup on this was to try to measure traffic, and it was called the Traf-O Data. And here is the Traf-O Data 808 computer with a tape reader, by the way. Okay, so this gets into persistence. And this is something that actually my grandmother used to just hammer on me about this. But you really, when a batter gets in a slump, you got to keep swinging. The only way to get out of a slump is to keep swinging. And you're not going to hit the ball if you don't keep swinging. And it gets hard. We all know this. It gets hard on a daily basis, weekly basis, but you've got to step back up to the plate. And you just have to keep swinging at that ball as much and as often until you get your rhythm back. But if you're not swinging, you're not going to hit the ball. So, great examples. NASA, 20 failures in its 28 attempts to send rockets to space, right? So these aren't going to be startups that I'm giving you some examples on here, but just give you some persistence in what you have to do sometimes to make these things successful. Henry Ford failed, left and broke 5 times before he founded the Ford Company. Walt Disney, bankrupt, failing several businesses. What I love about this, he was fired from a newspaper for lack of imagination. Kind of love that, right? You can't make this stuff up. Dr. Seuss' first book was rejected 27 times before it was picked to be published. This is my favorite, this last one. I didn't even know this happened. Maybe you sports guys know. I'm a sports guy, but I did not know this happened. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team because he wasn't good enough. Now, who wants to be that coach? Right? Yeah, you're that guy. All right. I saved this for last because it's actually the most important. When you build these companies, you really got to hire the right people. I know I'm now really being Captain Obvious, but you've got to hire the right people. You've got to build a team that trusts you, that trust each other, and you build that culture that they're trying to accomplish a single mission. Everybody's on the same page of what they're trying to do. I put my team up here. But this is not an easy thing to do. When you hire someone, they may have all the skills in the world. They may be the best. When I was doing the Medscape company with 1,200 people, I had Harvard MBAs everywhere, lawyers and finance people and all this other stuff. And some of them just didn't fit in the team. We had 1,200 people. To get that 10 million burn down, we let 483 people go. When we let 483 people go, our revenues actually went up and our profitability went up. There was people running around that didn't know what they were doing, right? And there's people around that didn't fit in the culture that were pushing other people down. And when we made those decisions, and we looked at team first, we looked at the people that were motivated. We looked at the people that fit into the culture. We looked at the people that were passionate about what we were doing, more than we looked at their skills on the paper. Because I'm a big believer, it's those people, they'll hit the ball out of the park. Even if they don't have the skills, even if they're not on paper the exact perfect person or the ultimate of the person, or has all the experience of doing startups before, if they have the passion, they have the commitment, they have the dedication, and they fit in the culture in which you're trying to build, that's where you go. You could train the rest. IBM used to hire, and some of this I learned from them on the hiring practices. I didn't know this, but IBM's #1 background for hiring salespeople, you know what their degree was usually in? Accounting. Which is really weird, right? I was not an accounting. I was an MIS major, but I still got in there, luckily. But the reason why, they like the way accountants think. So we'll teach you computers, but I like how you logically think about things. But then they looked for the personality. They looked for the drive. They looked for other things about the person. They hired the person. They didn't hire the resume, right? And so I can't stress enough how important this is. And when you're a small startup, every hire counts. Every single one. And you'll make mistakes. I certainly have done the same thing. And even in the current company, we brought people in that, they convinced me they were all about a startup. I want to be a startup, I want to be a startup. And then to get in there and say, they are not about a startup. I knew they'd not done it before, but I thought we could give them a chance. And, it's not an easy world. But it's fun. And you're doing it yourself, and it's your thing, and you're part of something, changing something, as part of it. When we built SureScripts for the prescribing thing, our motto was we're saving lives. 9,000 people every year die due to avoidable medication interaction mistakes because they didn't have the right data when they were prescribing the medication. We made all that go away. We made every bit of the medication history information available to every doctor, every pharmacy, CVS, Walmart, Walgreens. All of that history is available to any doctor prescribing any medication that a drug interaction check against it. Removing that as being a problem. Right? That's a mission. That's a statement. So when you get in these companies, what's your purpose? What's your mission? And when you hire people, make sure that they fit in and they're as passionate as you are as a founder, as passionate about what you're trying to build. And then good things happen. So I'll close and answer any questions you guys may have, and I really appreciate your time, and I hope it was helpful.
MyTaskit do?
So MyTaskit, we're work coordination software. So we're targeting service companies, service professionals who are more focused on task and list generally. But service is mechanics, it's construction, it's property management, it's marine. Yeah, we're SaaS-based. Yeah, we're cloud-based, mobile.
But you can task software projects also?
Yeah, we don't do project management. I kind of stay away from the word project because we're more about here's a list of things I need to get done, and I'm assigning it to people inside my company, and I'm also subcontracting it out to other people. But I can also get tasks assigned to me from my own customers. Like if I want to assign to my plumber, because I use the same plumber, I can say, hey, here's a picture, here's a video, here's something I need, how much is this going to cost? I'm not Angie's List or anything else like that, but we're work coordination platform. Question?
Yep.
Yes.
Thanks. So you've heard the concept like ideas are nothing, executions are everything. So much of what you had was all about the execution.
Yeah.
How much do you think the idea matters?
Oh, I mean, certainly the idea is certainly execution is important, but the idea to me is everything. I mean, if your idea is big, you may have to break it up into chunks of how to get to the big idea. right, as a path forward. But your ideas sometimes are unique, right? But not every idea has to be unique. You may just see something and know I can do that better. And you may take something that already exists and make it better. But it is true, even if you have the greatest idea, if you're not able to actually build the team, raise the money, execute on what has to happen to build those companies, then it's kind of cool, but it doesn't pan out. All right? Yeah.
I have two questions.
Yes.
Do you have any of the initiatives that flopped? And second question, as a successful startup, do you have your own never failing lead generation strategy?
So let me take the first one. I've been fortunate, and I've never had to close the doors of one of my companies. But I certainly had one that didn't do as well as we wished it would have with investors. And it was primarily, I took over the company from the founders, and there was a belief, there was a lot of money in it from VC. There was a belief that the product was ready to grow, and we got in there, we started signing contracts and doing all kinds of things, and we found out the product was actually not ready, getting back to one of our learning principles, right? We had to pretty much stop everything and regroup and try to really rebuild the product over again. And that was a company called Promatics, which is a mobile healthcare company. And it didn't go, and then the whole industry changed. We lost our momentum, and then we had to sell strategic sales to someone else. So luckily, we found a home for it, but it wasn't as much of a win. What was your second question?
Do you have the never failing lead generation strategy? Because I'm thinking, how do you sell a system like that?
Yeah.
Like, who do you call? Who do you contact? Do you reach out to doctors? Do you reach out to like somebody, administrators? Like, how do you sell a product like that?
Yeah. Well, so for SureScripts or for MyTaskit?
MyTaskit.
Yeah. So MyTaskit, Molly, our marketing in the back, with Molly. So we're focused in a lot of different areas. So our market is kind of unique. Our market's not quite digital. Social media is great, but they're not really there yet. In many cases, print ads is still very effective with them, unfortunately, because they're expensive. But we have a very strong digital strategy in digital marketing that we're using around social LinkedIn groups. We're mining a lot of that data to make sure that we're targeting the right people with the right profiles. So we've got a company out in San Diego that we actually use, that we contract that out. Molly leads with that company on our digital marketing strategies. And then we have more traditional rounds. Then we have inside sales. We have outside sales where we look at alliances and distributors. By the way, we're actually hiring an inside salesperson. So if anybody knows any good inside salesperson, we need one. And we also hire a UX, UI person. So, good.
I have a girlfriend of mine who's actually working for a marketing company. And she's
Frustrated? Have her apply.
So wait, we have time for one more question, and Matt, I just
Yes. When you talk about building a team,
yeah.
What are your thoughts about finding an expert and relying on this expert that happens to be a close friend or family member?
Yeah. So I'm in this business with my father-in-law, which, yeah. This started.
You want me to stop the recording?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I forgot we're recording. Oh, it's never online. This came about because I was getting ready to go do another startup with another organization that had already had funded and everything else, and he convinced me, why are we doing this? Why don't we just do one ourselves? So we bootstrapped this whole thing together, he and I. And that has its challenges. You know, you've got to make sure you've got a separation between, the professional and the business, right? But it's got to be fun. Once you make sure everybody knows the roles, right? My role is your role, and stay within those roles. Certainly, friends, brothers, have done very successful companies together. My childhood friend is here somewhere, wherever Steve Wheeler is. So he runs our sales group, and we've been friends since second grade. So it works, but you just got to make sure that you well defined. He knows I'm in charge, and that's the way it works.
Well, thank you,
Yeah.
Kevin. Thank you very, very much. Before you go, I'm going to get you a T-shirt
Yeah.
A made in PVC T-shirt.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask your shirt size offline, so
Yeah,
I'm going to get that wrong.
large.
But perfect.
Yeah.
But thank you all for being here. I don't want to go back to the slides just to be cognizant of everyone's time, other than the fact to say that one, you will be getting an email tomorrow just with a quick survey. We want to know what you guys want to hear. What would you like to see, and how you like the event? Should we get this type of beer? Should we get that type of beer? I can tell you we're working on some pretty cool speakers coming up. We're going to be hearing from companies, hopefully like Chewy and Office Depot in the coming months, and there's going to be a lot of really neat things happening within Palm Beach Tech that you guys will see. So we hope that you stay tuned, but most pressing things, you hope you join us over at Duffy's for happy hour right after, immediately following this. So Duffy's on Clematis Street, 1 block away. For anybody that would like to continue the conversation there, we hope you join us. Kevin will be here for a little bit. Matt will be here for a little bit as well. We might be doing a first drink free. So in that case, there's that debonair looking guy right there, Armand. He's got some tickets for you. If you do want to do that, we're going to double check and make sure we have that. But thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Aaron. And thank you, Kevin.